Hi, my name is Marco and I work for WHEDco. We're a nonprofit in the Bronx and we've been trying to help small businesses apply for different grants and loans in order to help them survive. Today we're going to talk about the New York City Small Business Resilience Grant from the Department of Small Business Services and the City of New York. This grant came out on December 8th. If you're eligible, you could get up to $10,000. And you can use those funds to pay for your payroll and benefits, your mortgage, your rent, your utilities, or other operating costs, and basically any expense that you had for your business between March 3rd, 2021 and December 23rd, 2024. You can find out all of the different grant requirements on the website covidresilience.nyc. That's covidresilience.nyc. To be eligible for this grant, your business must operate in New York City on the day that you apply. You must be a small business of less than 500 employees, and you must either be in the arts, entertainment, recreation sector, accommodation, and food service sector. So that includes restaurants, food vendors, maybe a club or a venue, or you could be a retail business or any other type of business, but you must be located in one of the low to moderate income census tracts. There's a link on the website that opens up a map, and you can use that map to figure out if your business is located in a low to moderate income or LMI area. So on the map, you'll see a lot of blue little boxes. You can zoom in and sort of see where your business is located. And if you're in a blue box, then you could be eligible for this particular grant. So that applies to businesses operating in their own homes, or somebody like an independent contractor, like an Uber driver or a Lyft driver. But if your business is in the arts, entertainment, recreation sector, accommodation, or food services sector up here, it doesn't matter where your business is located. So you can be in an area that isn't in one of those blue boxes and still apply for this grant as long as you meet the other eligibility criteria. Your business must have opened or started operating starting on October 1st, 2019. And most importantly, you must be able to show or prove that your business suffered a 25% reduction in sales, gross receipts, or revenue. And you can do that in a couple of ways. One is by comparing quarters from 2019 to 2020. So any 3 months in 2019 and the same 3 months in 2020. Or the other way is to show that your annual sales were affected by 25%. So you could prove it using your annual business income taxes, for example, for 2019 and 2020. Your business, of course, must be in compliance with every federal, state, and local law, rule, and regulation, and you must be up to date or repaying any back taxes to the federal, state, and city level. And finally, your business must not have received the Shuttered Venue Operating Grant or the Restaurant Revitalization Fund. So these are grants from the SBA. They're also known as the SVOG and the RRF. Any additional details will be covered in the guides on the application portal. So below you'll see all these application guides. They're available in different languages. Select the one that in your preferred language. It'll open up a second tab with a PDF that gives you instructions about the application process and all of the eligibility requirement necessary. Beneath that, you'll see the grant application attestation or certification. So this is a document that basically spells out the terms and agreement of the grant, basically says that you're telling the truth, that you're going to use these funds appropriately to fund your businesses. You want to fill out the top section with your business name, your business address, your business EIN, social security, or ITIN. You want to fill out on the second page the business owner name, the number of employees, and on the last page, you're going to have to sign it as the business owner. Put the business owner's name, put the business owner's title, president, owner, whatever it is, and then today's date. You're going to need to upload this document later on in the process. The portal will also talk about the different application processes. This application is very similar to the New York State COVID-19 Pandemic Small Business Recovery Grant, which is a grant for up to $50,000 given away by New York State government. You can find out more information about that particular program in some of our other videos, or go to the website nysmallbusinessrecovery.com. The city is opening up this grant in 3 priority groups. So for the first group, up from December 8th to January 18th, it's the smallest businesses, so those businesses that make less than $1 million in revenue per year. Then they're going to open it up to businesses from January 19th to February 22nd that make between $1 million and $3 million. And then finally, after that, they're going to open it up to pretty much everybody, as long as they're in one of those sectors or located in an LMI area. The requirements that you're going to need is that attestation, that form that we looked at before, your government issued ID, your 2019 income taxes, your proof of decrease of revenue, so that could be your 2019 and 2020 business income taxes, or a report like a profit and loss statement for 3 months for 2019 and 2020. The city is being pretty flexible about the documents that you need. So if you got an extension on your 2020 taxes, call them and find out what documents you could provide in order to prove your loss of income. For businesses larger than $3 million in revenue per year, they're going to require the NYS 45. And finally, they want you to download, complete, and sign a W-9. So you fill out the top information, you put the business name, and then you sign and date this document. And we're going to upload those documents later on. Finally, at the very bottom, there's an 888 number. This is their call center. You can call them for help or support or to follow up on the status of your particular grant application. The number is 888-959-6471. And if you need to talk to somebody in a different language, you can ask that when you call to speak in a different language. And the application itself has this little accessibility button that gives you different options in order to make the site bigger or more accessible to you. And it also has a drop-down menu to help you, to select a different language if you speak a different language at home, if you're more comfortable in a different language. To get started with the application, you want to click the green button at the top or at the very bottom that says Apply Now. It's going to open up a new tab. From here, you want to either log in if you've already started the process. You will have received an email with a temporary password that you'll use to log back in. Or you want to click here to apply, clicking that purple button on the left side. It's going to bring you to a new page, give you a rundown again of the requirements on the right. And on the left, it's going to have another purple button that says Apply Now, which will now open the grant application. You want to fill out the top information with your name, your email, your cell phone number, your legal business name as it appears in all your documents, taxes, or your New York State registration forms, and then the zip code. They're going to ask you to select your preferred language. And then finally, how did you hear about this particular grant? So select whatever option makes sense to you. And then lastly, there's this little checkbox where you can accept to receive texts about the updates of this particular grant. And remember, if you feel more comfortable applying in a different language, you can use the selector up at the top to choose a different language. In the next section, it's going to ask about the owner information. So their first name, their last name, their email address, their home address, their date of birth, their social security, and the percentage of ownership. So if you're the only owner for this business, you want to put in 100%. But if you have partners, you're going to figure out what percentage you actually own, the person who's applying for this grant owns. So is it 50%? Is it 20%? Whatever. Finally, you want to read the terms and conditions by clicking on the blue link that says Terms and Conditions. And then when you've read that, click the Accept button. You can save and agree using the purple button to the terms and conditions below. The next section asks business information. So review your legal business name. If you've registered a DBA or doing business as with New York State, type in that name. So your business was registered or incorporated using one name, but you're using a different name to operate. So fill that out. If you don't have a DBA, type in NONE. Next, you're going to ask for your business EIN. That's the employer identification number or your tax ID from the IRS. And they'll ask you for the business type. So that would be a corporation, an LLC, a sole proprietorship, where your business was registered or incorporated when you formed, your business address, the location type, which is if you're operating out of your home or out of a storefront, you rent a commercial space or whatever it might be, the date that you started the business as it was registered with the government, for example. If you have a business website, you can type it in the next field. If you don't have a website, put in NONE.com. And next it asks you for your business stage. Are you operating today? Are you in the pre-startup phase or the startup phase? Select the correct one, and then you can move on. In the next section, it's going to ask you how you intend to use the grant. So this is, what is the primary use for the funds? You can use it in multiple ways like we described earlier, but they just want to know if you had to choose one, what would it be? So select whatever you think is most appropriate for you. Grant eligibility amount is $10,000. Gross receipts, you can get that from your business taxes on line 1. If you're a sole proprietor, it's going to be Form 1040, line 1. If you're a corporation, it's likely going to be Form 1120, line 1A. And if you're a partnership, it's going to be Form 1065, again, line 1. Will this grant create jobs? If you were to receive this funding, do you think you'd be able to hire more people? They just want to know. You don't have to know for sure, but they're trying to gauge what the funding will be used for in the future. They also want to know your full-time and part-time number of workers in 2020. And if you created jobs in 2020. So say you had 4 jobs or 4 employees in 2019. In 2020, you were able to hire 5. That would be 1 job created. And then finally, they want to know jobs retained in 2020. So you had 4 people in 2019, and then in 2020, you kept 4 people on payroll. Even if you temporarily had to let some people go, but then by the end of the year, you were backed up to 4. Then you should put the number 4 here, or whatever it might be in your case. One point that I wanted to make is that if you're the only employee, say you're an independent contractor or you run a retail store, but you don't have any employees under you, please put 1 under number of permanent full-time employees in 2020. Next, they're going to ask you about your business demographics. Are you a B2B, a B2C? B2B is you sell to other businesses only. B2C is you sell only to other clients. Or are you both? You sell to businesses and clients. This is your primary customer base. For most businesses, it's going to be B2C. You're selling directly to a client. It's going to ask you, what does your business do? Perhaps you're a barber shop. Then you would be a service business. You're going to have to fill out the next section. You do personal services, and then you do beauty, barber, and nail. If you're a restaurant, for example, you would do sells a product. You would select retail trade, and then you select food and grocery. Next, it's going to ask you to select your NYS number. So that is a number associated with your particular industry sector. So what you want to do is you want to click here to open up a new tab and then search for whatever it is that your business does. So maybe it's a restaurant. It's going to give you some search results, and then you want to select the one that's closest to what it is that you do. So here we have limited service restaurants, so that would be fast food, for example, or full service restaurants, fine dining. Copy that number and then go back to the other page and put it in the box. It's going to ask you if your business is woman-owned, if you're a veteran, if you're disabled. It's going to ask you for your race, and it's going to ask you for your ethnicity. And finally, it's going to ask you whether your business is a franchise and if it's located in a rural area, like a farm area. Finally, we get to the disclosure sections. Here, basically, they want to know about your gross receipts. So, did your revenue decrease by 25%? And from here, it's going to give you a drop-down asking you how you're going to show that your business lost 25%. Is it on an annual basis, so using just your income taxes for those 2 years, or is it on a quarterly basis? Select whatever it is that you're going to use and then move on. In the next section, they're going to ask you for your annual gross receipts for 2019. So again, that's line 1 on those documents that I referred to earlier. And then they're going to ask you for your gross receipts for your 2020 tax returns. If you don't have this number, try to talk to your accountant. See if you can put together a P&L statement for the year to get your gross receipts number. You'll have to explain to Lendistry that you don't have this particular documentation yet. It's going to ask you how many months were you open in 2019. So if you were open for a full year, you could put 12. Say you opened in 2019 in June, then you would put 6. So this is the year before the pandemic. The next section asks you, was your business profitable in 2020? So you would want to talk to an accountant and see if you made any money. You can select that you don't know if you don't have that information yet, for example. It asks again if you're a service-disabled veteran-owned business, if your business is a cooperative-owned business. It asks you if your business is in the arts, recreation, entertainment, and food service and or accommodations sectors. You don't have to be in those sectors as long as your business is located in an LMI area. Next, it's going to ask you if you're assisted by an NYC Business Solution Center. So the city, through the Department of Small Business Services, has all of these facilities that offer wonderful services across the 5 boroughs. If you got help with your application through them, then select the correct one from the list. If you didn't talk to any of them, you can select I was not assisted by an NYC Business Solution. Is your business immigrant owned for number 10? Have you applied for any other COVID relief funding for your business? So here they're talking about PPP, they're talking about other grants. Did you receive any of that funding? But they have different options. Yes, I received the full amount I requested. Yes, but I did not receive any funding. Yes, but I received an amount less than what I requested. So you asked for $10,000 and you only got 5, you would select that one. And then finally, if you didn't apply to any other COVID relief funding, you would put no. And the last question is, does your business currently operate in NYC, in any of the 5 boroughs? In order to qualify for this grant, you must be operating in New York City. When you're ready, you would hit the submit button. Here it's going to ask you, are you ready to send the application? You would select yes, and then the purple button that says continue. If you aren't ready, if you are not ready to submit the application to the city yet, what you want to do is you want to select no and then save and continue later. Once you do this, you'll get information from Lendistry. Lendistry is a company that has been hired to review all of the applications, make sure that everybody is who they say they are. You will also receive another email saying that you need to verify your ID. Once you've submitted your application, the next step is for you to upload the required document. Again, those documents are listed on the COVID Resilience NYC page, but we hear that sometimes Lendistry asks for additional information to verify who you are. Instead of just your 2019 completed business tax, maybe they'll ask you for the transcript from the IRS. Or perhaps they'll ask you for a letter confirming from your bank that you have a bank account, a commercial bank account for your business. We're also recommending that people take a picture of their certificate of authority. So that's that pink tax ID form that you have to display in your food vendor license or whatever other documents they need to operate their business, and submit those so that you don't get stuck in the process of trying to confirm who you are as a business owner. When you enter the application, you'll see a page like this. It has your application number, and then a purple button that says upload documents and bank information. It's going to give you a page that looks like this with different buckets for where you need to upload the document that you are currently working on. Finally, you'll need to confirm your bank information. Click on the tab that says Bank Info at the top, and then you're going to need to link your bank account using step 1, link your bank account. You can also type in the information manually on the right. And when you're all done, you would hit the purple button that says Submit Bank Information. So that's the overall process. If you need help with your application and you're located in the Bronx, you can give WHEDco a call. Our number is 347-973-0945. You can also send us an email at business@whedco.org. We're also helping businesses apply for the New York State Small Business Recovery Grant, so if you need help with that, check out our other video or give us a call or send us a text, and we will help you in whatever way we can. Thanks and have a great day.